Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's now time to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I have joining me here in the studio, public affairs analyst Olade Rio. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. It's good to see you.
Cool and calm Monday.
Well, really? Monday or morning?
Sorry,
Tuesday. And via Zoom, we've got from Enugu State PR consultant, public affairs analyst Ambrose Ibuke. It's good to see you.
Good morning, all. Nice to be here.
Right. Let's see what the newspapers are reporting this morning. Daily Sun is the first to be reviewed here. ASU strike, chaos as angry students shut highways, stranded commuters groan on Shagamo, Ilesha, Akure, Ojo, UI, Mokola, other expressways. ASU strike disrupts academic activities in Polytechnic. Wow. First news is next. Blasphemy, 34 lawyers to defend Deborah's killers in court as magistrate remands suspect in Sokoto prison. Respect other religious beliefs, can, advises Christians. The Nation newspaper is next. EFCC arrest federal government top accountants over 80 billion naira fraud. Money laundering in real estate suspected. AGF faces allegation of overstaying in office. That's the Nation newspaper reporting here. This Nigeria, 80 billion naira fraud allegation. Accountant General Idris in EFCC net. 80 billion naira fraud allegation. Accountant General Idris in EFCC net. News Direct, alleged 80 billion naira fraud. Reactions trail arrest of AGF Ahmed Idris. That's News Direct there. Nigerian newspaper is a Nigerian Tribune is next. Alleged 80 billion naira fraud. EFCC arrest Accountant General of the Federation. You see that on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. The Punch newspaper is next. Timetable, INEC talks tough as 18 parties fail to conduct primaries. No going back on election timetable, June the 3rd deadline. INEC warns parties. APC, others intensify lobbying as commission, says terminal date for primaries fixed. PDP postpones governor, Senate primaries for the third time, cites IPOB sit at home. That's the Punch newspaper. Vanguard newspaper, 2023, governors move to secure tickets for selves, associates, fight for consensus candidates. 5 of 11 first-term governors emerge consensus standard bearers. That's the Vanguard newspaper. Daily Trust is next. 2023 presidency, push for northern candidacy heightens in APC. Promoters, prisoners of power, Tinubu's camp, will lose if South is schemed out. Ndume, that's Daily Trust there. Blueprint, investigation, why Malami, Talen, Silva, and Ngige may not return to office after resignation. President Buhari doesn't want to be seen as condoning impunity. APC guidelines trap Akpabio, Amechi, Ono, others. That's the Blueprint newspaper reporting here, political stories. Leadership newspaper is next. Leadership conference and awards holds today. Leadership conference and awards holds today. That's the leadership where we'll have top personalities who will be awarded, as well as one of them is also Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who will also be receiving an award from Leadership newspaper, the conference that we're holding today. Business Day newspaper, surging wheat prices evoke ditched cassava policy as India bans export of wheat. That's Business Day newspaper. National economy, how Nigeria can achieve double-digit growth in 5 years. Economists say federal government invest more in agriculture, stimulate consumption of locally made products. The Guardian newspaper, federal government faces tough choices to stabilize economy as inflation bites harder. Inflation rate jumps to 16.8% in April, highest in 8 months. Fuel scarcity, insecurity hike in Jet A1 compound compound woes. That's the Guardian newspaper. That's the newspapers that we have here to be reviewed. Let's look at First News newspaper. What they're reporting this morning says, blasphemy, 34 lawyers to defend Deborah's killers in court. Ambrose Ibuke, I'll be starting with you on Zoom from Enugu, as magistrates remand suspects in Sokoto prison. Then Khan warns or advises Christians respect other religious beliefs. What do you make of this story, Ambrose?
Well, this is what happened to the young lady is very unfortunate. It is barbaric, and nobody that lives in a civilized society should condone that or should even encourage that. Such things cannot happen in the name of religion. It cannot happen in the name of culture, in the name of intolerance of any kind. It's purely barbaric. And I am glad that a lot of Islamic scholars like Sheikh Gumi and some others have come out, even the Sultan of Sokoto has come out to condemn this dastardly act. You cannot, it has been proven by Islamic scholars that there's nowhere in the Quran or in the Hadith that this kind of action is encouraged. So then we'll also be hearing stories. I don't know those two people that have been arraigned, who they are, but the activity that led to the death of the young lady started from a class WhatsApp group. So the first thing to investigation to start with, who are the admins of this WhatsApp group? There are conversations of the WhatsApp. There are people who started a threat in that WhatsApp group. So the police does not need to look too far. They need to, comb that WhatsApp group and track those people who threatened her first of all. There were some people who now went ahead to mobilize from the fillers we're having, went outside to mobilize outsiders to come into the campus. So these people can be traced. Also in the video, there was a young man who said that he was the one that even lit the match, the fire, showing us the matchbox. And from reports we are reading, we heard that they cannot find the person. That person should be tracked. So we cannot continue this kind of thing. It has happened too many times. And why it happens always is because there are no repercussions. There are no punishments. So this one should be followed closely. I urge the Nigerian media to ensure that this case is followed closely so I can see the logical conclusion. I mean, the late president, head of state, Sani Abacha, took some decisive steps when these things happened when he was head of state. Some people were executed, and if we continue in that trajectory, and nobody will come out and do this kind of thing. But when there are no consequences, people tend to misbehave and go board. How many people have been, prosecuted in the law courts in Nigeria and killed and executed by law for killing people in jungle justice? These are what we are talking about. So jungle justice anywhere, be it in the name of religion, be it in the name of false alarm or raising people to calling people ritualists, be it raising alarm that people are thieves, or whatever in the guise it comes to, is all of them are jungle justice. Yeah. And insofar as we encourage jungle justice, therefore it will continue to be there. So we urge the law, because anywhere you find the one that happened in Lekki, how did it go? So we must ensure that anybody that the perpetrators of jungle justice are brought to book and then make sure that they receive the maximum penalty, which is the death sentence.
All right. Olade Ndiario, well, the first newspaper, we're still on it. Magistrates remand suspect in Sokoto prison. That the suspects are already apprehended. Well, of course, there should be more people who also perpetrated. It made an allusion to the WhatsApp group where the issue actually started from. And I believe that the police are doing their investigations.
Yeah, but we see the basic truth now is where we should start from. Nobody has the right to take the life of another under whatever guise, tradition, culture, or religion. But as he said, the second thing is this: we have created an environment of no consequence in Nigeria, where people commit murder, do all manner of things, and then they easily get away with it. Except for the Abacha era, where those who killed for a similar reason were paid in the same coin. There is no record anywhere. And we're not talking of Lekki experience. Before Lekki, there was a better we had an engineer who was managing a site. He wasn't a hidden personality, not an unknown person. He was secretly murdered by Okada riders. Now, we can no longer continue to deceive ourselves. All of these things are pointing in a particular direction. And the earlier we look deeply into it, the better. The question is, why would any gathering of human beings resort to killing and setting other human beings ablaze? But because you know that they will do it and get away with it, we've been waiting to hear from governments of Lagos State since the Lekki experience happened. Unfortunately, we've not had anything. Perhaps today there must be a press release because it makes all of us unsafe. You know, I have had to spark and resolve crisis between Okada riders and motorists at several times. Reason being that my hunch will tell me, look, if this thing should escalate, it may lead to death, it may lead to public crisis, it may lead to a macro war. If care is not taken, an anarchy. My concern now is the fact that some lawyers will gather together in the name of whatever. I want to defend a blatant case of open murder. I can't understand where they're coming from. The death of people, the way Deborah was killed, removes from all of us. It reduces from all of us. It's against humanity. And I don't think anybody anywhere will want to support such a cause. And I'm glad that renowned scholars like Gumi and the Sultan of Sokoto, they've spoken against it. Now, again, all of these things put together challenge the authority of the Sultan, who is the #1 Muslim in the country. Because if he's saying something is not right, and some other people, minions now, are saying no, that's what they're going to be doing.
Well, do you think the fact that the 34 lawyers are actually out there to defend this suspect doesn't mean that they won't get justice, if there's any justice to be served? Because we know that even those we will see, those who are arrested, that will see that they've openly perpetrated evil, they've got lawyers too, they've got their own rights to be defended. Don't you think that's probably what's going on? But we see with the kind of evidence against them, video evidence, not manipulated, not edited. I wonder what drama they want to go and present in the courts. The angle of now saying these people are not Nigerians should also be looked into. This country has been terribly infiltrated by people from Nigeria, from Mali, Sudan, and all other parts of Africa. We cannot manage our security like this. The earlier the security agencies now gather together and come up with a scheme that we get such characters arrested and deported, the better for all of us. Our security is far more paramount than trying to play African Big Brother. No, we can't afford it. Ambrose, very quickly, during the time of the Prophet, as captured in history, there was a treaty signed between the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews, where they say, this is Medina, we live together, we are one big family, we respect your religion, we respect our own religion, so that if there's any external aggression, we'll all fight it together, because when they attack us, they are not going to separate the Muslims from the Christians or the Jews. And that has been re-echoed by the Khan president, who said that respect other religious beliefs, advising the Christians. What do you make of this? So that we'll have a one big family called Nigeria without having to separate ourselves religious-wise.
Yeah, there is something very clear. A lot of Islamic scholars have even come out to say that during the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that he was critically abused. I mean, sincerely, by so many people, and he did not kill anybody. So why would the followers want to do what he did not do? So we must imitate our leaders, if our spiritual leaders, if we are really truly following their teachings. And we must follow the teachings of the Prophet. And the teachings of the Prophet does not allow violence. Now, when we come to religious harmony, we should realize that Christianity, Islamism, and Judaism are all Oriental religions. When we mean Oriental religions, they all came from the Middle East. And they all form one root. And that is the Abrahamic religion tradition, which means all of them spring from Abraham. And, so when we talk of Judaism, when we talk of Christianity, and when we talk of Islamism, they're all from the same source. So it's like they're all from the same parents. So if we are from the same parents as siblings, I don't know if these people don't understand the religion they are. That is why these confrontations are coming up, and this is why all these things are happening. So religious harmony entails that you should respect the religion, the space, the convictions I have as a person, as a spiritual person. You may not like it, but respect it. And that is why this, trying to force people to change or convert your religion from any side, I view it as wrong. People should not try to convince people to convert. Live an exemplary life. Be a good person. Be a good citizen. Be a good human being. It is only then people can, be able to emulate what you are doing. So we should tolerate other people's religious choices, even the African, especially the people that suffer most is African traditional religion. We see them as pagans, as fetish, as this, and then we start to invoke all kinds of things on them. Let's practice religious tolerance in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a secular state.
Okay,
no religion
quickly
is superior to the other.
Yeah, because of our time, we need to race against time. I bring you back to the studio, Oladeji Ario. Let's change tack by looking at a related issue, but this is ASU strike. Chaos as angry students shut highways. That's according to Daily Sun. It says stranded commuters grown on Benin, Shagamu, Ilesha, Akure, Ojo, UI. This should be Mokola, other expressways. ASU strike disrupts academic activities in polytechnics. What do you make of this ASU strike? It's really, getting
it's one too many. And you remember when I came in, I said Monday morning. Why? Yesterday, I was scheduled to be in Benin to deliver a lecture, but because of the lockdown, I could not go. So for me, it's like my week is just starting today. You understand? Now, I cannot add it up all again. Why education, which is the pillar of any society, anywhere in the world, through which youths are graduated into adulthood and maturity and leadership, should be allowed to suffer this way. The last 7 years has been the worst for Nigeria in terms of education. That we have gotten to this point, and we are treating education as if it's not important, as if we can do without it, forgetting that all the youths of the country, they are being so treated. We are exposing them to the likelihood of getting involved with crimes and whatever vice that education will have taken them away from. I was a part of the research where we were trying to use sports to prevent child delinquency. At the end of it, it was wrapped around schools, and we had tremendous success. But where schools are closed because their teachers are on strike, and it's going on for months, it doesn't speak well of us. The earlier reasons it was the better. The same speed and alacrity which they resolved the airline operator threat to shut down the aviation industry should have been appropriately applied to this situation. But it's painful, and people are saying it's because those in authority have their children schooling abroad or in private schools, so they don't care. I mean, somebody should rise up and correct these things. We cannot continue this way.
Right.
If the executive will not do something, let the assembly do something. Let the national rulers do something. We have leadership at different levels. Let them come together and resolve this thing. Because it must not be allowed to fester.
It's in the interest of everyone.
Everybody.
If the students are back to school.
When you are generating, see, all the problems about lynching, killing, and all of that, they are not too far removed from people being ill-groomed and ill-trained and devoid of education. Without education, your faculties don't grow. You don't see things the way you should see things.
And it affects the overall development, of the nation as well.
So a proper man will not emerge.
All right, let's also change the direction by looking at this, and then we might be going home with this. This Nigeria reports, the Nation newspaper, This Nigeria, as well as News Direct, reporting the same thing, saying that, Ambrose, I'm coming to you. EFCC arrests federal government's top accountant over 80 billion naira fraud, money laundering in real estate, suspected. AGF faces allegation of overstaying in office. What do you make of this, according to the Nation newspaper?
Well, it was like a bomb blast that erupted yesterday when the news broke that the Accountant General of the country was arrested. It goes to show the depth of what we call malfeasance and financial impropriety that is going on in government. 80 billion, that is the one they have seen. What of the one that have not seen? And it's not only him. Basically, we hope that he will sing, because I can always beat my chest that he's not the only one involved in that. So let him come out and tell us the ministers that are involved. Let him come out and tell us the other heads of departments, agencies, and parastatals that are involved. And again, the media should follow up on this so that it's not swept under the carpet. It's not just a ploy. Sometimes it will always be a ploy to remove the man, and they do what that fantastic phrase that EFCC use called plea bargain. What are plea bargaining? A method of, okay, return some of the money you have stolen and then go home and rest. That is not how crime is fought. So, and I hope that before you arrest the man, you would have hard and cold fact evidence against him, because the EFCC has been found of, coming from media trial, making all the noise, and at the end of the day, it just fizzles out, nothing. And then sometimes when they go to court, there's even no hard evidence to convict the person for the crime, whether it is deliberately done or that is where the capacity stops is what we don't know. But I think it is time for EFCC to diligently prosecute matters so that we can have a head of where we are going to and curtail, financial investment in this country.
Well, Alade Rio, 80 billion naira is not chicken feed.
My first question is this: what is a 60-year-old man doing with 80 billion naira?
Generational wealth.
Was it only him now that planned, executed, and stole 80 billion naira? Is it possible?
Allegedly stole.
Either alleged or not alleged.
It has to be alleged.
It's in the media now.
It doesn't
matter. It's in the public space.
It has to be alleged.
And whoever brought the story out must have had their day
it is still an
investigating. My problem, as he said, is the fact that we've been fed with so many media trials. They will come. I no longer have confidence in the EFCC, and I must say that. They will come and tell us, like they said now, EFCC arrest federal government talking about 80 billion. There was a report again that the man has been reappointed for a second term. So I was wondering, am I dreaming? Now that it's out, I would have expected the EFCC to have done enough work, okay, whereby by the time they pick the man up, the following morning, it will land in court. And then we will not be speculating. Again, this may also be a possibility, because the man knows we're in the environment where you can do anything and get away with it. How many people are serving jail terms for stealing money in Nigeria? How many? We've lost billions and we're still losing billions.
Some even
now,
got a pardon.
This one that came out now, maybe because he didn't play ball. Yeah, I don't want to trust this. We can't be living on media trial. It's unfortunate. Social media was our God yesterday. It is nearly shut down. And everybody was so much anger. And I said, look, I won't kill myself because of this. I'm not his age mate. He's a young boy, as far as I'm concerned. If he thinks he needs that kind of money at his age, good luck to him. Unfortunately, yesterday, dollar and naira became 600 to 1. Now, these are some of the things that led us to where we are economically.
All right.
Yet, I can't still see us doing anything about it.
It's quite appalling.
Because this young man may end up being given a slap on the wrist and say, okay, pay 1 billion naira.
We'll see how it goes.
Go home and see no more.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll be waiting.
That's why we're here. And
when I was kept saying the media, the media is not the security agency. I mean, there's little that the media can do.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing. And we're actually doing our own.
Things are unfolding every day.
Absolutely.
We cannot be hanging on stories like this. They're not edifying.
Let us play ball. Let us play, but we need to go. All right, thank you very kindly, Public Affairs Analyst Alade Rio. I really appreciate your passion.
My pleasure. It's painful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up looking forward to a beautiful Nigeria.
We're going to see
see my grey hair.
We are going to see
when will I enjoy the country?
We are going to
see
it. We are going to see it, most definitely. And then via Zoom has been from Enugu, PR consultant, Public Affairs Analyst, Ambrose Igboke. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.